All right, hello everybody. This is the first time I'm doing this in quite some time, so please bear with me. Look somewhat decent for this camera. There we go. Looking awesome. All right, playing guitars and string instruments. Be careful with a lot of jewelry. You don't want to get tricked up there. And I've gotten some requests for this recently, and as I'm doing this video, it's weird because I haven't done one in a while because I was just like weirded out by talking to myself mostly, but I'm obviously talking to y'all. So people have requested this. Neon, John Mayer. Very first thing. What's the difference? I'm just using a regular acoustic guitar here at the music school I work at, and this is a nylon string, 3/4 classical flamenco guitar. Steel string Taylor sounds really good with it. I've tested that before. I also believe he's using Martin or a Taylor in some of the live performances. Notably the live performance at the Nokia Theater. In that album he has where he opens up with Neon. I believe that's a Taylor. I'm not sure. Comment and let me know. The guitar here is different. For what reason? Here's my strings, A, D, G, B, E, but here's my low E. It is not a low E, it is a what? It's a C. You have to first up first is this is getting dropped to C. And when you hear that that's dropped to C, we are in the key of basically C minor, I believe. Right? We got an E flat in there. We got a A flat and a B flat. Relative major, E flat major, I believe. Yep. So those are relatives to each other. Well, we're in C minor. There's my C minor chord is going to be very helpful and prominent for this song as well. Basically off of the 3rd fret on the A string, creating a bar over there, but you can use the open C, so it'll give it a nice thick sound. So when you tune your guitars, make sure that everything's tuned up. You got a good C octave over here between the G string and the A string, and that sounds good with the low E string being tuned to drop down to C. Tune that low. There we go. Not bad. And also, obviously guitar is relative, so make sure pitch is relative to how the action and the intonation is on the guitar. You know, may not be synced up completely due to whatever the quality is of the make and model of the guitar. And down to the notes, we take a look here. I worked with the bass first. I remember my buddy Dennis and I sat in his apartment in Long Beach for hours on end just trying to figure this out. And we did. And we did not use any music or tabs. We did it by ear. And eventually, as much as we kept figuring out hints of the melody by ear, we felt we had a basis of it and a good gist, and did a couple run-throughs, and then we watched the live performance and then gathered everything from there. Eventually, years later, and this was years ago, this is when this first dropped. And then years later, I finally actually did look at some music and compared notes, and it was great and worked out pretty well. Everything that was happening when we first started figuring out the melody, I worked with the bass first. Now this is all minus the intro. I like playing the full live version from the Nokia Theater with the intro with the, right? Yeah, and then a couple chords on top of that happen there. I'll do a video about the intro on another time. But getting to the main melody, I just worked on the bass line first. And the bass line with that open C, going from C to E flat, E flat to F, to B flat. And we're basically we're open for the C, 3rd fret for the E flat, 5th for the F, 8, and 10 for the A flat and the B flat. And that's the bass line. I am using my thumb. I'm using my thumb for the bass. Not gonna lie, he does it too. And it would be the most conducive way of configuring the chord shapes as we start going into that now. And then we got the right hand to work with. But let's get over here. After we realize that that bass line is just moving like that, walking, for the verse at least. Boom, 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 boom. What ends up happening now is the melody that goes along with the bass line that we're working with. That's going to be in tangent with this hand, and we'll get to this in a moment because there's a whole thing about that. But what's happening here is we're working from the C minor from G to F, right? Boom, boom, boom. Now, if that doesn't sound exactly like it, it doesn't. Why? Because the rhythmic value of what's happening here and what we call the John Mayer claw, it's these 3 fingers is what he's working off of to pick everything. And I have some trouble with that here and there. I still get the good amount of proper technique. Also, as you can see, my thumb is set here so I can be able to get the bass. Yes, it's true, I do not have a normal thumb, helps out, but not make or break. But the rhythmic value of picking where we have some X notes in there, some, what we would say, muted notes, creates the rhythm almost like as if it's like a slap bass player, a bass player who's doing slap technique, right? And now put together over here probably. See, I'm kind of moving my these 2 fingers kind of move around so I can be able to get so I can kind of get this picking off of it and rolling with it. Right now, the first part of the melody coming in from here. I'll jump back a little bit so we got full guitar position. Coming over here. That was our G to the F. Now this can be slapped or it can be kind of plucked a little bit. And then if you're not doing this John Mayer deathclaw technique, you are just technically picking it out. Right? So we got that C, G, F, C, G, F, 2. What do we have over here? We have a triad. For a little bit, real quick. And then we have pretty much this half of B flat, but with the E flat on it, you got this B flat kind of coming in. Nice, you hear that sound. If we do a C minor, nicely movement there. But now what's happening here in terms of the movement after we come out of the G and a F, pick that up. I'm gonna use my 2 fingers here. Here's this chord. We're gonna go ahead and thumb that E flat with our 3rd fret on the C, on our low E string, which is now C, with the F with the B flat major triad over here. But now, as we're coming into that, the note in between is going to change. Is going to be the passing note to change into the next chord. 5th fret on the D to 6 on the D. That's a half step move from G to A flat. And then turns into this chord. I have my thumb here on the F. And then I have the chord here with this A flat, this B flat, and then let's see, another E flat on there. So we have this. And let's take a look at what notes those were on here. That was I know you can't see the piano right now, but it's okay. That's the F. There's the A flat. There's the B flat. And there's the E flat. With an F, it'll sound like this. Pretty cool sound. I'll do a demo on the piano in a second. But that's our 5th fret, holding the F down on the low C string. That was our E string. And we're picking that out. And now when we come with each one transitioning into each other, I'm just gonna take I'm not gonna switch string. I'm not gonna use another finger for that. I'm just gonna slide into it, kind of. Yeah. And then you formulate that chord. Now it's I didn't disclaim how the stretching of these chord shapes can be a little bit interesting. So depending on what your hand shape is and how you've been practicing for so much time, it ends up being a little bit fickle for some people, and could be good practice in terms of exercising the hand, getting some good stretching out with it. And what ends up happening is you have a good guitar for it. That's why that Taylor has a decent sized neck. The Martins have these dreadnought. Some of the dreadnought acoustic guitars have a decent sized neck that is not as big as the flamenco fat style C neck guitars here for that style. So it's going to be a little bit interesting to do it on that. I'm doing it because my hand rather does have some size. I've been doing it for quite some time, and I have stretched them out pretty decently. I wouldn't recommend it. I would just say use a regular straight, decent, regular size neck dreadnought steel string guitar, or a smaller. They make acoustic flamenco guitars there with a smaller neck, little thinner, not so fat and wide. So that helps out. So yes, disclaimer: the stretches of some of these chords are interesting. This one being in particular, and that is the first three parts of the first 3 chords of the melody. I'm just picking it. See? Right? If I had the John Mayer Death Club. I see it's a little bit interesting. I gotta try to get it in the camera and not pay attention to the camera. Let's talk about these next 2 chords. So then after we come out of this one here, which is the F with the E flat, right? That little setup right there. What we got going on now is after that, and then the other chord. Oh wait. Here we are down to the 8. We're doing that same similar shape where we're gonna have a bass note and that major triad on top here. Let's see what major triad we have here. Let's see what those are. Looks like we have a B flat, an E flat, and the G on here. So for all intents and purposes, that's just a inverted E flat major chord. And then, of course, we have a C flat, a G, and a D. So, right? So, we have a B flat, an E flat, and the G on here. So for all intents and purposes, that's just a inverted E flat major chord. And then, of course, we have a C flat, a G, and a D. So, right? So we have a B flat, an E flat, and the G on here. So for all intents and purposes, that's just a inverted E flat major chord. And then, of course, we have a C flat, a G, and a D. And the bass that's with that though is going to turn it into something else. We have that A flat with that, so that's going to sound pretty much like this, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's it. But now the thing is, we're holding that shape, but now we're going to add on this note here. We're just going to add a half step higher instead of the G, we're going to add this note here. So yeah, so that's going to be another A flat. So we have A flat, B, E, A flat, right? And that looks like this. I'm going to hold my thumb here for that E flat. I'm going to have my strings my D, G, and B strings held here for that E flat major triad that's inverted. And I'm going to that's with the chord, but now we don't want that last one, so we're going to add this one here. We're going to change this one a half step higher, put my finger there, and then we basically got that. And that's just going to go from here to here like so. We're going to go from fret, where are we at? The shape essentially is, root is on fret 10, and then we're going to go, fret 8, sorry, and then we're going to go to 10. Once again, acoustic nylon string guitar. It's a little bigger, different over here. Some people are not going to get this all the way down there. Because we went from, once again, we went from 8, the middle finger here is all 9, to 10. Same shape. That 10 shape is going to be the B flat on the bass, and we're going to take this whole major triad shape inverted of E flat and just take that up one whole step. What are we doing here? That's going to be E flat coming in over there. Never mind, sorry about that. That's a C. C, F, and C, F, and A. Sounds basically, that's an F major triad, it sounds like. But we're not going to change that A that I just inverted here. We're going to step that up to B flat. And we add on that's going to be our B flat. And that B flat's going to be on the bass. So we got this shape here with a B flat on there. And that's the last chord on that part. So pick it. So far, and all together. Something like that for the most part. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. We'll do another part 2 soon. Thank you.